Yesterday, the eighth episode of Star Trek Lower Deck Season 4 premiered, that episode being Caves, and well, today is going to be my review of said episode. Of course, the very first thing I saw when I saw the title was I thought of the episode of MASH where they had to bug out, evacuate their camp location, and shelter in a cave briefly, but that has nothing to do with this episode. I just wanted to mention that was the first thing that popped into my head when I saw the title. Really, basically, as the description goes, the lower deckers go on a classic cave mission. And yeah, cave mission. So they're going to do some science stuff, and then, unstable rocks. The cave collapses, they're stuck in there, and they don't have communication anymore. How often does that happen in a cave episode in Star Trek? Almost every single time. Transporters don't work and communications don't work. Now, I've been in a few caves myself, and, well, yeah, communications doesn't work. That's why they often string extra telephones through the cave, so that way, in case you need to contact the surface, they can do so. Though, weirdly, I've heard there's been cases where deep underground, somebody will be able to get a text message. Probably has something to do with, like, a mineral in the sediment or something like that. I don't know. I'm getting off track there. But yeah, so basically the episode is they have to do with a carnivorous moss that they all have to study and it's growing in the cave once it all collapses. And they keep on bringing up previous cave missions that they were on, and it reveals something about each of them that they hadn't told everyone else yet, which does put a strain on the friendship. Learning that Boimler had a cave experience with the I forget his name, but the Star Trek or the Starfleet officer who's basically a conspiracy theorist. Bonding with him over that kind of stuff and understanding more about that character, i.e., that character just wants to feel special. In other words, wants to feel like he's part of something great or knows something that other people don't. Actually, didn't delve into too much, but definitely did touch on some of the psychological things that do go on with people who are big into conspiracy theories. And then, of course, you have with Rutherford learning that him and Dr. Dion had one, and the guide basically psychologically imprinted herself onto him during her death, and he gave birth to her. Yeah, complicated stuff there, and of course it makes sense in sci-fi. It's science fiction, science fantasy, whatever you want to use. But yeah, it's just hilarious in that bonding experience, which they had said this actually that joke up them leading up to where Boimler and Rutherford, since they're now roommates, and some stuff that roommates have that other people don't, i.e., maybe more comfortability, more familiarity, etc. But even Boimler didn't know that, and he just like, we're roommates, and that's kind of a joke, and it was set up by establishing, their closeness as being roommates. And then, of course, Mariner's story that she tells is when she was stuck in the cave with Delta Shift, and she got to get a better understanding of them, i.e., they're jealous of Beta Shift because they feel like Beta Shift gets all the attention and thus gets the promotions. So that is something interesting to take a note of. And then, of course, Tindy, well, she doesn't have a cave story per se, but she does have a story of them being stuck in a turbulent shaft. And, well, at the end, they're about ready to be melted, and the moss slams into the wall and wouldn't let them go until Tindy tells them her story, which is just hilarious. But her story is basically them hanging out stuck in the turbolift on her first day on the Cerritos, all the way back in season 1. But I really like that callback and also reminded all of us why these characters are friends. Yes, they have now moved on to more responsibility, they don't work together as often as they used to, but they are still friends, and that story was to remind us of that. And then, of course, the Moss is basically, when he finds out that they were there to study him, like, okay, good, study me, but as long as you keep telling me stories, and which is just hilarious, and they start talking about other stories as the cave stories, but we don't get anything told because apparently the Moss is a morality tale from, well, if you go back to the Boimler story with the Starfleet conspiracy theorist, and basically in their cave experience, same aliens are doing a morality test on them once again. But that is just hilarious how those two things connected. I was honestly not expect that. I was truly expecting a sentient moss, carnivorous moss that loved the idea of making friends and hearing stories. That if this was an episode of TNG, that's probably how it would have gone. But being an episode of Lower Decks, they decided to throw the more humorous ending, which also works as well because it's about our characters, not about the real fantasy or the real science fiction element, I should say, that is going on. But you know what? These are just my thoughts on the episode. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. And of course, thank you for watching. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Live long and prosper. Thank you for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like as well as subscribe to my channel and ring that bell to stay up to date on my latest content. Also, be sure to check out the link tree in the description as well as any other links I have down there.